And now your Albright's brother is in the purple, and you just see Keyshawn Davis come in. The guy running in is Keon Davis, and things are being thrown. There's no room for this in the sport. There's no room for the Davis brothers to be in the building tonight.
That's bullshit. You on the other side? That's bullshit. You didn't try to make the weight. Why you signed a contract for 135 and put your title on the line if you knew you wasn't gonna make the weight to begin with? If you knew you were struggling to make the weight to begin with? So that's what I would say in return is that it's bullshit. It's very unprofessional. You're supposed to make that weight.
No, actually, like I said, I was in the locker room. Their locker room is right next door to mine. So I guess they heard like us like happy and all that kind of stuff, and they came in.
In a shocking and chaotic sequence of events on Friday, Keyshawn Davis was stripped of his title before even stepping into the ring, coming in more than 4 pounds over the limit. But the real drama unfolded backstage, where Davis was involved in a violent altercation that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Adding to the chaos, DAZN's Chris Mannix weighed in, stating that Davis compounded his problems dramatically just a day later by targeting his brother's opponent, Nahir Albbright. The commentator highlighted that Albbright had already bested Kelvin Davis on the undercard of the same show. In a shocking turn of events, Keyshawn, accompanied by his other brother, Keon Davis, stormed Albright's locker room and launched a full-scale assault. They stormed into Albright's locker room and initiated a physical assault.
Later this year. Now, a day after, Davis made things measurably worse. On the undercard of the show was Keyshawn's older brother, Kelvin. He faced someone named Nahir Albbright, who Keyshawn narrowly beat in 2023, only to have the fight changed to a no contest after Davis tested positive for marijuana. Albbright beats Kelvin Davis on the undercard of the show. In the locker room, Keyshawn and his younger brother, Keon, who also fought on the card, all three Davises were scheduled to fight, they went into Albright's locker room and jumped him. Albbright said that Keyshawn headbutted him. He had a bump on his forehead that seemed to validate that after. Sergio.
And now your Albright's brother is in the purple, and you just see Keyshawn Davis come in. The guy running in is Keon Davis, and things are being thrown. There's no room for this in the sport. There's no room for the Davis brothers to be in the building tonight.
However, Richardson Hitchens didn't hold back, voicing his frustrations with the entire scenario. He stated Keyshawn clearly lost his composure and that jumping opponents in boxing is simply unacceptable. Hitchens emphasized that this kind of behavior makes no sense, labeling assaulting Nahir as crazy.
Is jumping now. That's what is doing in this. This is jumping people out here. This is crazy. Like I said, up in the boxing world, bro. I'm not understanding this. Nah, yo, bro lost his mind. Bro went to locker room and they try to jump my boy. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
In addition, Hitchens further stated that Top Rank is poised to capitalize on the scenario, planning to turn it into a promotional event and release documentaries portraying Keyshawn's mental struggle. He then issued a stern warning, stating that these individuals had better not go back to Philly.
Over there at Top Rank, though, they know how to promote. They gonna have them on a documentary saying how they was going through it mentally. This, that. Soft ass. Them not allowed back in Philly. Them better never go back to Philly. Facts.
Chris further weighed in, stating that a staggering 4 pounds over the limit for his scheduled showdown with Edward de Los Santos was a complete disaster for Keyshawn, a TKO before the bell even rang. Mannix, after a direct conversation with de Los Santos' corner, relayed the team's absolute fury over the entire chaotic situation.
Keyshawn Davis, the now former 135-pound champion who lost his title on the scales on Friday, weighing in more than 4 pounds over the limit for his fight with Edwin de Los Santos. I talked to members of de Los Santos' team after the weigh-in, and let me tell you, they were furious about what took place there. One person told me they saw someone on Davis's team spraying him with water to make it look like he was struggling to make weight. They said Davis was dancing around, smiling the whole time. There were conversations throughout the day on Friday about moving forward with the fight, with Davis paying a 6-figure penalty. But ultimately, De Los Santos chose not to go through with the fight.
Furthermore, Chris delivered his opinions on Edward De Los Santos hitting the scales looking completely depleted, a shadow of his fighting self. Mannix didn't pull any punches, declaring that if the bout had gone forward, De Los Santos would have been staring down a devastating knockout. But in a silver lining for the fighter, Mannix highlighted the contractual truth of the sport. Once that weight is made, the full purse is secured, a small victory in a situation where the main event fell through.
Good for him, by the way. He looked drained at that weigh-in, and I have no doubt that if that fight went forward, he would have been badly knocked out. Instead, he gets his full purse. When you weigh in, and you know this, Sergio, you contractually have to be paid, and now he maybe gets a chance to fight for a vacant title of some sorts.
Adding to the fallout, Sergio Mora declared that Keyshawn's stock had plummeted to the canvas. Mora stated it was a devastating look for Keyshawn Davis, first with losing his title and then the assault on a fellow boxer. He was set for a massive hometown debut with his brothers on the undercard, the stars aligning for him to become the next big name in the sport. He was, by all accounts, a star in the making before the unfortunate events.
So Sergio, I'll put it to you. Did Keyshawn's stock plummet to the floor?
100%. It's a terrible look for Keyshawn Davis, who was a champion, who had so much going for him. He was going to have his hometown debut as a champion in Norfolk, Virginia, with his brothers on the undercard. I mean, everything was aligned for him to be the next star. I mean, he only has barely a dozen fights, 13 fights. He's already a champion. He's already ascending. I mean, he's a star in the making. And people on that side of the country, they really support their athletes. Allen Iverson comes from Virginia. I mean, so many great athletes come from Virginia, and he was going to be the next.
Further reinforcing the gravity of the situation, Mora unequivocally stated that making weight is a non-negotiable part of the fight game, a fundamental element of the deal and the entire negotiation. Mora's statements sharpened as he stated that Keyshawn didn't even attempt to make the contracted weight, a clear betrayal of trust. According to Mora, he let down everyone who had placed their faith in him.
He didn't even try to make weight. I mean, look, I've been overweight in big fights, but I've always made the weight, man. I've been overweight 3 pounds with Mosley, came back, I made the weight. Wasn't a good performance, but I made the weight. My second fight with Vernon Forrest, I was overweight 2.5 pounds, did the same thing. Something about a fighter where you agree, where you sign a contract, you have to make the weight. That's part of the negotiation. You have to make the weight, all right? And then the fight. That's why I always say it on a telecast. Making weight right is half the fight won. Keyshawn Davis didn't even try. He didn't even try, man. He let down his promoter, his fans, his family, and ultimately himself.
Echoing the frustration, Tim Bradley, his anger clearly evident, voiced his frustration, stating that even granting Keyshawn the benefit of the doubt, his failure to even try to make weight was unacceptable. Bradley then directly challenged Davis's intentions, questioning why he would even sign a contract for a 135-pound bout if he had no intention of hitting the mark.
Look, I'm a fighter, I understand. You know, let's say if we give him the benefit of the doubt, he tried to make the weight. This and all this in the third, right? That's bullshit. You on the other side, that's bullshit. You didn't try to make the weight. Why you signed a contract for 135 and put your title on the line if you knew you wasn't gonna make the weight to begin with, if you knew you were struggling to make the weight to begin with? So that's what I would say in return is that it's bullshit. It's very unprofessional. You're supposed to make that weight. Period. Hands down. I don't give a damn. You supposed, hey, if he crawling on all fours to the scale, then I'm saying, damn, he tried to make the weight, but it was too much for him.
Building on that sentiment, Bradley stated that if the difference was of a pound or two, that was understandable, but the 4 pounds is outrageous and totally unacceptable.
So he should have been able to make that weight or even come closer to that weight. 4 pounds? That's an embarrassment, man. 1 pound, I can understand. I can understand some ounces. Maybe even 2 pounds, but 3-4 pounds and up, man, no, bro. That's not professional at all, bro.
Shawn Porter also discussed this matter, stating that if Keyshawn weighed in 4 pounds overweight on Friday, and considering Keyshawn's own admission of being heavier the night before, that would place him nearly 7 pounds over the limit just hours before the weigh-in. Porter then laid down a fundamental principle: a fighter should never be that far off the weight class the night before a bout. He then outlined his own tried and true strategy for hitting the mark.
Anyway, he turned me on I start working it off and all that kind of stuff, and I actually care now. Until we get back to the venue. And when we get back to the venue, they wipe me off and all that kind of stuff. I get on the scale, they tell me, y'all go watch it. And I won't tell the rest of the story from here, but y'all can go watch the rest. But here's the thing, key point. I get on the scale, they say you get one chance. I get on the scale, I'm 0.2 over. I get off, there's big roar, it's done. It's commotion, wipe him off some more. I get back on, 0.2 over again. I get down, and commotion. My dad says, Shawn, you need to take a deep breath and you need to exhale and then get on the scale. You gotta grab yourself here, man. And you gotta grab yourself here in your heart. I hear you talk a lot about your faith and where you are opposed to where you could be, where you used to be. Don't lose that. Don't allow circumstances, don't allow the moment of life, don't let anything get in the way of what it takes to be great. And what I mean when I say that is don't allow anything to get in the way here.
Furthermore, Shawn stated that the issue has moved beyond mere weight. He emphasized that Keyshawn now owes Top Rank a debt of gratitude for the platform they provided him on ESPN, especially with a hometown event, and must honor their commitment to them by making sure this fight happens.
Stakes, so on and so forth. Like, it was mind-blowing to me to see that Keyshawn had to go back to get his baby. That's going to be everywhere. He has there's no way he won't see that and make the correction that he needs to make to prevent anything like that from ever happening again. So for those reasons, I appreciated ESPN for doing what they did.
Well, these young men are growing up in the public eye before all of us, and it's like,
in a notable intervention, Jay Prince just stepped into the ring, stating Keyshawn needs to step back, reflect, and assess his trajectory for a full reset. Prince, ever the strategist, views this as merely a minor setback in the grand scheme of things.
Maybe just reset. Just reset. Keyshawn missing the best manager in boxing. You know what I mean? But reset, man, reset. You know what I mean? It's a small setback for a major comeback. So you gotta stay focused, though. Yeah. Appreciate that. Okay.
Meanwhile, Abdullah Mason just stated he was genuinely blindsided by Keyshawn's failure to make weight, an unexpected turn of events. Mason, eyeing the future, added that while the fate of the vacant belt remains uncertain, he has his sights firmly set on it.
I wasn't really expecting that. You know, I've never missed weight. You know, I've been at this weight for a minute too. So he probably just grew out of it. You know, and I'm not sure how this is going as far as the belt being vacant or whatever. You know, but I've been creeping up on it either way. So you know, I'm still looking at grab that belt. But first things first, take care of Nakatila tomorrow.
Mason continued on Keyshawn for attacking, implying that such behavior is far below the standard for professional fighters. He highlighted that he also has brothers, but their focus remains on celebrating victories, not on launching backstage attacks.
Leaving the fighting to the ring.
I mean, that's not how I get down. You know, I say that's you see where me and my brothers at. You know, we in here in the locker room together. You know, we enjoying our win, and like I said, we about business. You said he did what? What happened?
From inside the ropes, Nahir Albbright recounted his perspective, painting a clear picture of the incident. He stated he was deep in celebration with his team after a hard-fought victory when suddenly, Keyshawn and Keon stormed in, unleashing a barrage of verbal abuse. Albbright stated that the situation quickly escalated from there, erupting into a full-blown physical assault. Given the close proximity of the locker rooms, Albbright speculated they likely overheard the celebrations and took offense, sparking the unprovoked attack.
I was in my locker room and celebrating my victory with my team, and yeah, Keyshawn and his little brother came in, and they started looking at me. It's like they saying something about his older brother, like they was mad, and he like grabbed me, pushed me back. I'm like grabbing his hand. He like moved his head towards my head, you know, felt like a little.
So you bumped heads?
Yeah, he like headbutted me. Yeah, he like headbutted me.
Oh, okay.
Can I see that?
Keyshawn did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
incident?
No, actually, like I said, I was in the locker room. Their locker room is right next door to mine. So I guess they heard like us like happy and all that kind of stuff, and they came in and started trouble. I mean, they upset that their brother lost, and yeah.
Have you ever-
Poor sportsmanship.
Albbright continued his account, stating that his coaches intervened, grabbing Keyshawn, at which point security arrived and escorted them out of the locker room, but the chaos wasn't over. He stated that Keyshawn then attempted to launch another attack, this time targeting Albright's brother, who had been vocal about their unprofessional conduct and confronting them about their actions.
And who ended it?
My coaches like grabbed them, and then I think security came in and grabbed them.
There's a video of Keyshawn like trying to charge again. Was there like a second time, or was there like?
That was my older brother.
That was your older brother?
Yeah, my older brother, because he was trying to talk to them like that was unprofessional and things like that. And yeah, it just got crazy.
Showing true championship grit, Albbright admitted that even after the shocking assault, his spirits remained undented and high. He stated it did nothing to derail his unwavering focus on becoming a champion. He further voiced interest in facing Keyshawn.
I mean, it's definitely kind of, it's a little unfortunate, but nothing could take away, you know, the feeling of being a champion tonight. I ain't gonna let nothing ruin my night.
Yeah.
I'm the new champion.
Talk about your execution during the fight, because you were like landing those big right hands over the course of the fight, like from early rounds, like from round 2 on, and that kind of carried what you were able to do as far as like winning rounds.
Yeah, you know, we practiced that in training camp over and over, and it worked. It worked tonight. Once I saw it working, you know, I capitalized on that.
Did you hear the scorecard?
I do want to rematch Keyshawn for sure. We could run that back. I've been in there with Keyshawn, so I know how it is to be in there with Keyshawn. You know, this is my first fight at 140 in a long time, and he moving up to 140, so maybe it could happen.
In a poignant turn, Teofimo Lopez weighed in, stating the importance of considering Keyshawn Davis's current predicament. Lopez conveyed that Keyshawn is clearly navigating a tough mental battle, a situation he stated he has personally experienced. However, Lopez clarified that he himself had never reacted in the same manner as Keyshawn during those trying times. He then urged everyone to send prayers to Davis and his family. Lopez concluded by stating that Keyshawn is still young, actively striving to find his footing in the demanding world of boxing, and that this process of self-discovery inevitably brings a host of frustrations.
Hey guys, I think it's very important for us to really think about Keyshawn Davis and his situation. I know personally that he's going through it mentally, and how I know this is because I was there. I've been there. The only difference is that we never reacted the certain kind of way that he has. Other than that, though, I think we should all send prayers, you know, to him, to his family, to his newborn child as well. I think that you know, he's young, still trying to figure out himself in the game, and a lot of frustration comes with that. You know, the media is not easy. I think anybody in here that knows it's not easy. But wishing the best for Keyshawn Davis. Sending prayers to your mother, and wishing you and DP3 the best, guys. Keep it up, man, in the sense of positivity. Forget about the negativity.
Teofimo then pivoted, sending a direct message to Nahir Albbright, expressing hopes for his recovery. Lopez went on to state that whatever course of action Nahir and his team collectively decide upon in this situation, it is a sound move, as such incidents are simply unacceptable in the sport.
And to Najar, I believe it is, or Nahir, you know, feel better, man. And whatever you guys plan on doing on that case, you know, I think that it's a good move on whatever you guys decide with your team. Things like this are unacceptable.
Furthermore, Andy Cruz didn't hold back, tearing into Keyshawn Davis. He stated directly that Keyshawn needs to show proper respect for the sport and cease such actions. Cruz emphasized that Davis must learn to operate with far more professionalism. He added that he will teach Keyshawn some manners.
Y respetar tu deporte. Creo que lo que hizo no se lo enseñó a su papá.
You say the first thing that you gotta respect the sport. He got to be more professional, and his dad never teaching that.
Tengo que cuando lo vea tengo que regañarlo.
When he saw him, he gotta, you know, like
llamarle la atención.
¿Cómo se dice? You know, he gotta like tell him you do wrong shit.
Cuando lo vea le voy a romper, I'm gonna fuck you up, Keyshawn.
Keyshawn Davis's recent actions have sent shockwaves through the boxing community, raising serious questions about his professionalism and future in the sport. From his failure to make weight for a title bout to the alleged assault on Nahir Albbright, the incident has drawn widespread condemnation and concern. As the boxing world awaits further developments, the consensus is clear. Keyshawn Davis needs to take a step back, reflect, and make significant changes to his approach, both inside and outside the ring. What are your thoughts on Keyshawn Davis's recent action? Share your opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth boxing analysis.